Well, I feel like the creative process isn't always the same. You know, it's like going to the gym, and when you want to, you know, work on a certain, you know, muscle group, you want to trick that muscle group into doing different things each time, because if you do the same thing each time, it'll get used to it. So, you know, writing music at different hours, at different times, and dealing with it in different ways. You know, writing based on a concept or based on a story, or then, you know, or based on a title. You know, just finding creative ways to compose and you know, discipline practicing. I think, you know, comes from trying different things, from experimenting, which a lot of my great teachers call practicing experimenting. So the creative process is a never-ending kind of winding road where you're always trying to explore and discover the next thing. So it's, you know, you try to stay. I try to stay out of a routine when it comes to that, because I don't want my music to sound routine. I've thought a lot about the contrast between, you know, playing original material and writing and pushing it forward, and then, you know, going back to that common place of playing standards, and that, you know, the basis for our language of playing jazz. And, you know, to every artist and every musician has a different view on what should be done. So there's no really should or could, you know, a right or wrong answer when it comes to that. I love the Great American Songbook and standards, and they really speak to me. So I can really express myself over them and using them as a vehicle, you know, as well as original material, and you know, kind of interweave the two to create some kind of a story or some kind of drama. But you know, standards aren't for everyone, and original music isn't for everyone either. So that's a very personal thing. I really love a good balance between both. Well, when I'm performing, you know, audience react in different ways. Sometimes they don't know how to react. You know, they come to the show kind of with a blank slate, or maybe having seen one other jazz thing in their life, or be really experienced seeing jazz or seeing any live music. So, you know, I always like to play something accessible, you know, fun, for the band. And when the audience sees the band having a good time, then they feel more comfortable to have a good time. And that's kind of how I see music, you know, where we play to uplift people. Yeah, I mean, with any great band comes lots of rehearsal, but, you know, rather than rehearsing in a room behind closed doors, you know, little gigs here and there around New York City and other places serve as great rehearsals for a band. You know, like when Miles Davis went on tour, they didn't really rehearse too much in a room. You know, they played a gig and then they talked about it afterwards, maybe listened back to it, maybe, you know, talked about what they could do differently, what they liked, or maybe different ideas or different ways to deal with the music or songs or the audience or anything like that. So I think the rehearsal comes more in experience and playing together and kind of understanding each other. I had a great experience with some of my early jazz cruises, you know, 3, 4, 5 years ago at this point. Being thrown into this environment where it was like a jazz festival, but everyone's kind of held captive. So you see the cats at the pool, and you see the cats at the gym, and it's really like a week of like summer camp where you're like hanging out with these people, and you know, if you're on any kind of cruise, you see the same people over and over again. You like, you know, it's a real bonding experience because it's so encapsulated. So I met a lot of great friends. I made a lot of great friends on the jazz cruise, and yeah, the thing about it for me is that I'm able to hear so much music, you know, for so many days in a row. You know, not that many jazz festivals are that long with the same bands, you know, playing over and over and over again. So you can really get a chance to learn someone's playing and to know them personally, and to get to hang out with them by the pool. And they do a great job of putting it on and throwing different things together. And, you know, it's really an awesome experience to be part of. Yeah, I have a lot. I'm part of a lot of different projects here and there. I just went to Russia with this Russian saxophone player named Igor Butman. We just played a cool gig at the FIFA preliminary draw where they figure out which teams play which teams. And so, it's a very, freelance thing. I also recently did some gigs with Christian McBride, a new special trio with Mark Whitfield on guitar. So I've been getting a great chance to play with musicians that are older and different and more experienced, and in various genres under the scope of jazz. So I'm part of a lot of that stuff, and I'm looking forward to releasing a new trio album in early 2016. And it should be featuring a few special guests, but I can't give too much information at the moment. Emmet Cohen.